Everyone, welcome to another episode of Independent Artists Unite with guest host Retro Casey. Thank you for
Hello.
being here tonight
You're
to
welcome.
your night, my morning.
Yes.
To and I'll have a sip of pink
Okay.
invisible coffee also.
Cheers with some seltzer. Yes. Mm.
And we're turning the tables, and you're going to ask me questions about, well, it can be anything, but I do
Well,
have a single out. We were always.
you do. You have a single out. I've heard it a few times, and it's really cool.
Thank you.
It's full of synthy goodness. So I love that. And the first thing I wanted to ask you about, of course, we always start with the. I want to hear about the development of the song, and so what was your inspiration? What came to you first? Was it the melody? Tell me how it began.
Um, hmm. Let me think about that. I think honestly, this one came about as a bit of a reaction to Witch's Curse, the last song. So
Okay.
I intentionally I think we were always might be 135 beats per minute or 140 even. I'm not sure. But that's actually what I started with was I need a fast song
Yes. Okay.
because I'm as we may have talked about before, I often mention if I sit down to write a song, it's usually what comes out naturally is slow and gloomy.
Yes. The melancholy. Yes.
Yeah.
I know all about that.
So yeah, actually with this one I was like I started with the beats per minute, and yeah, so I wanted to do something upbeat, and I think I definitely came up with this bass line to start off.
Okay. That was
Um,
one of the first things I noticed actually when I started listening a few times through, the bass line really jumped out. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah, I was that kind of carried me away with it because I was just fiddling around and I thought, oh, this is catchy and I can't get this out of my head
Well,
and
it's
then
been in my head a lot too, the song.
yeah,
It is very catchy. Yes.
yeah, and I think too it's this is one of the gifts of like working with producer extraordinaire James K. Ultra of Pain in the Ass because I'm always trying to impress him, you know.
Mhm.
So it's like we talk a lot about you know of you know dressing up these kind of pop songs in gothic outfits, you know, for
Right.
for songs maybe just like how far can we go in making something super catchy and still kind of dark
And
and
dark.
having a certain vibe which I always love. Like I always say I've always been, when it comes to goth music, more of a like a goth pop
Yeah.
fan. You know,
Mhm.
I'm always like a big fan of like The Cure, Sisters of Mercy, and um, even when it came to Bauhaus, I liked the songs that were, you know, more songy. You know what I mean?
Right.
When they went off on their 15-minute, yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
Daniel
I
Ash may
come.
have been on something then. Yes.
So I always appreciated it, you know, when it really sounded like a song, and yeah, so I haven't been able to. As a kid, I like that, so I haven't been able to shake that as an adult. I've never been a real, I guess, true goth fan of these, you know, bands that are just
Well,
these
there's
real
that.
dark and noisy kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah. Well, what I would say is you have a great pop sensibility that comes through but it's dark at the same time. It's a perfect blend.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Well, that's what I like to do, and then so I think when I'm these days when I'm doing a demo, I'm I mean I'm I get in the artistic flow and I'm really just doing what I need to do to serve the song, but in the back of my head, it's always there. I want to really knock this James socks off with this one.
Yeah.
So but to tell you the truth, I didn't know with this one whether he was gonna like it or not. And it was a time when I was writing a lot of songs, so I was sending him two or three songs like a week, and I tend to just send him things and see what sticks, what
Right.
makes an impression with him. And he really loved this song. He was like, "Oh, I think this is the follow-up to Witch's Curse. It's just like a dark wave kind of banger." And I was like,
It
"Really?"
is a banger. Yeah. It's a perfect follow-up. It really is.
Yeah,
That's exactly how I saw it too, because you brought me Witch's Curse, and then when I heard this, I was like, that's the sequel. That's perfect.
yeah,
It-
well, and it also was a good sequel because, like, thematically, I was with Witch's Curse. That we talked about where it was this idea of when maybe you're getting involved with someone that and you're not so sure it's a good thing, and who knows why, trauma, psychology.
yes.
and, or just being in too many relationships that have exploded in various ways. But yeah, so that was the thing with Witch's Curse was giving into this relationship, and then and then we were always as more like kind of realizing, oh, there was no way to do this, not to do this, and the idea that like sometimes you get or I don't know if you ever got before, just a feeling of like, oh, we've done this before. I'm like a big believer in reincarnation
Mhm. Past
and these
lives.
kinds of past lives and these kind of
Yes.
metaphysical things. And yeah, and so the yeah, with the witch's curse person, is part of the
Is she anonymous? I
part of
I know
the
who she is.
as part of the additional surrender to realize, oh, you know what? This
You
actually
were
feels so familiar that I think we've done this before, and
right.
there's no way to not say yes to this.
Yes.
So that was kind of where this song came from.
That's exactly how I interpreted it too. Well, I to me it was like this, like in Witch's Curse, you were a little scared, and then but you finally like calmed down, and now you're like, good. This is, and you know, everything's going well. And in the video is amazing. Please tell me about this. Tell me about the adventure of making the video.
Well, this is I feel like this is another way that like James helps me too. I think because I had no idea. I was just messing around with this. Well, I had this, a photo that Nadine had sent me, and I had made a kind of collage out of it because of course, she's a photographer, into photography. If you haven't, if not following, fabulous
Yes,
photographer.
she's
Um,
amazing.
and we tend to, we're both like super creative. We tend to like send these pictures or collages back and forth and stuff. So I kind of did this collage of us uh, together, and there was something about it I just really liked. It just had a certain, I don't know, it was something of like, she's like mostly nude in the background, and it was like so kind of like it reminded me of like a Roxy Music
You know, it
or
did.
something that wasn't that somehow didn't seem disrespectful to women. I hope,
No, no,
I
it
know
was
she didn't
very,
feel.
no, it's, I thought it was wonderful. It's very artistic, creative, the expression. I love everything you guys do together. You guys are like this magical dynamic duo when you do your collaborations.
Oh,
Sure.
thanks. Yeah, and yeah. So I sent I sent the cover to James because I also sent him the cover art too and be like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And then we'd go back and forth a little bit. I sent him like three different options, and he was like, also, I was like really surprised. Oh, I love this, man! Like comic book noir, film
That's
noir.
exactly
This is
right.
so cool. And I was like, is that what this is?
Well, you set the style, you set the tone with your style in the photo, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't quite know that's what it was really. And then I started thinking, I started thinking about Sin City and and then I was going to meet Nadine in Cologne, Germany, and we started talking about a video idea because she's like, this is also like something really special about her. Like she will just jump into running around like a lunatic on the streets of a city.
I love it.
Filming a video, it's like we
Yes.
here we are allegedly, adults,
Allegedly, yes.
and so I just think that's so fun, that she's not only willing to do it but super excited about it, because so we just had the best night, and not really knowing what we were doing because we were like
Yeah.
I
Well,
was like
it comes through
yeah, I was like,
that energy. It's so
oh, that, yeah,
vibrant.
so we were having fun.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was oh, I'm glad, yeah, because it was fun, and she was like, well, what's the storyline, and what we were trying to think what, and I was like, also like these videos too from the 80s, where I was like, I don't think there has to be a storyline. I think we could just be running away from something nondescript.
Yeah. That was how
This
they did it,
those
wasn't it?
those videos, yeah. It's like
Yeah.
these videos in the 80s, like what, they're running away from something, but somehow it works, It just
Right.
you just need just the touch of something that makes you think of something else. And so you really don't need that much for a video. That's what
Yeah.
I found. And I
Well,
was
the first thing when I saw the video, I wanted to ask you, what are you guys running away from? What's going on?
yeah, yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know. Yeah. Probably our own fears
Yeah.
of our situation.
Twin flames that are blindly like doing whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, and then that twin flames idea came up too because I'd come across that too. So this this like idea that, that we've been in this situation before, and that that there's this like kind of explosive attraction,
The chemistry.
and
Yeah.
yeah, the chemistry, yeah, and it can be
Your
kind of
your
scary.
chemistry.
So you're half running away, half running toward
Okay,
each other.
yeah.
Yeah,
No, you guys have great chemistry when you work together too. So I can only imagine the spark, right?
yeah, yeah. We had a good time, and
So tell
yeah,
me
and we
about
did
the
it right.
lyrics. Tell me about the lyrics, like the spark, and while you were going through the city, did you were just singing and like so
Um,
what
well,
was your
we
inspiration for the lyrics?
yeah, I think it was this just this idea of I don't know if it's something that just happens a little later in life, or I don't know if it's my particular situation too, because as I've probably said before, I've been married three times, right? all ending in divorce. And in this last marriage, I have three kids, and it's complicated, so it's just this thing of two, like like I joke with my friends, if to get on a dating app or whatever, it's like, okay, when do I bring up that
Oh.
I've been married three times, the first coffee, right? If you're like, okay, well, I've been married three times. I got three kids. I used to be a heroin addict and an alcoholic, but don't worry, I got it together now. But oh yeah, I did die 5 years ago, but my heart stopped. But I'm hoping it'll keep beating now, so don't worry about that. You
Okay,
know,
I'm
and
not laughing, but this has got to be a movie or something. This is great. I'll
and
tell you.
I'm like this creative person. I'm yeah, I'm in my late 50s, but I like running around and filming music videos. My greatest passion is making goth pop music. It's
Yeah.
like, it's not a great dating profile, so it's
Well,
all those feelings are going
those
into
sites are
this.
kind of silly anyway. You are a star. You just have to know Scott,
Oh,
Scott,
well,
you
thank
don't
you,
you don't
thank you.
find Scott on a dating app and nobody swipes right or left or whatever on Scott. No,
Well, yeah,
they need to hear your music first. I think anyone who
yeah,
hears your music feels your soul and knows what you're about. And those little details, hey, we all come with baggage.
yeah, 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 yeah. Well, it's, too. I mean, this is who I am. So what can you do? But these feelings come up when you're going, when you have these
Oh,
you
that's
have
the
these
anxiety.
vulnerable, yeah, the vulnerable
Oh,
feelings
okay.
and all this kind of stuff. And you,
I understand now.
yeah,
I understand because I was like, "What is he afraid of? She's so amazing, like, and you're great together." But no, I definitely understand now. It's
yeah,
it's a
I
lot when
guess
you meet somebody,
I guess I'm just interested too of like I always try to think about, to be honest about like the vulnerability, and it's not easy for any human to like open up to another human, so I'm always like
right?
super interested in be like, what exactly is going on here, and
Mhm.
so and part of it is like all these judgments, you're constantly judging, you know so I was like, that's where they came in. Oh, it's too, this is too dark. It's like we're too. It's she photographs cemeteries, and I'm a goth
Oh,
rocker. This is the witchy vampire. No, it's too much. And then it's like, and then in another hand, oh, it's too dark. It's too light. Oh, this is too much.
yeah.
It's just. So
It's
it's
the
like
light
no
dressed
no
in
matter
the
no
dark.
matter what, yeah, no matter
Yeah,
what you could,
or
but
it's the
when
dark
you're in
dressed
that
as the
state,
light.
you're like, no matter what, you're judging that it could be, it should be something else. Oh no, this is not.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm just
Sometimes you just have to
exposing my own
stop.
neuroses, but it's like it's a neurotic
No,
time, right? When you're like, yeah.
I
So
understand
yeah, and
completely.
then it was just like yeah, so it was when I was writing the lyrics, it was about, yeah, making these judgments, and kind of, yeah, being hard on myself, and then yeah, so when it gets into the pre-chorus, that idea takes over of, yeah, another place,
Another
another
time.
time,
Yeah.
this has happened before, we were always going to happen. There's no,
Yes.
you can't turn this back. This has a life of its own. This
Right.
is the boulder is rolling down the hill, and there's no way.
Sometimes you just
You
have to
can't
get
just
out of
give
the way
in.
and let it happen. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, so that's the idea.
Right. Well, it it's amazing. Like I just love seeing how it developed, like with Witch's Curse and this, and following your story. It's been really fun and really I was just blown away by the video and then the song. It's on my favorites playlist now.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, actually, a lot. Yeah, I've had a few people say, "Oh, this is my favorite song of yours." And
Well,
yeah,
it's a
so I'm
dark
really
wave
I'm
kind of banger, and you know those are my favorites.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
And
and the synth.
yeah, I have to say I think well, it's interesting. It's like because then I sit back and I think, oh, what did I do here? You know, and maybe I should do more of these, you know, and I don't even know what this is. But I think it's just about maybe it's about just being honest about these basic things and that probably most people can relate to, you know.
Yes,
We all have these kind of insecurities or it's always vulnerable to open your heart
it's
to
difficult to
someone
be
that
vulnerable, especially
yeah.
when you've been through, you've
I
had
mean, yeah, it's difficult even as a creative person. It's difficult, you know. It's this is another thing where I'm so
absolutely.
grateful for James because it's one less. It's kind of like
It's not a hurdle you have to worry about.
yeah, yeah, and it's kind of like a protective filter I can have too because I know I can just send him anything, and then he can say, "Oh,
He's going to
yeah,
work with you
this
on it.
is
Yeah.
this is this is a, this is good. This has got a special quality to it, you know." I'm like, okay, yeah, then let's go attack it again, you know. And
You guys are like the hit machine.
well, I mean, he's amazing, and I want to mention too on this song that he came up with. I think I think he came up with all the keyboard parts. Well, I had like the art, kind of art part in there, and I had the bass and everything. But this, as soon as the chorus hits, and there's this, wee, this like kind of airy, kind of rocket synth part.
Yes.
He came up with that to begin with, and when he sent me the first draft of the song, he's like, "Yeah, I put this keyboard in there, see if you like it." And I was like, "Whoa!" I just thought it just totally made
Oh,
the
yeah,
chorus take off, you know.
it's perfect. And
And
I
then
was
he,
tell you, I recognize that part just from following James and Pain in the Ass. Now I can hear I can recognize his synths.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
perfect. It's amazing. Yes, it works beautifully.
yeah,
Mhm.
and that little melody that he put in there too,
Yeah.
and then that goes down an octave at the very end. I was so in love with that, you know. I said, you know, I really feel like the song should end and that synth part should keep going, you know.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
like an
oh,
outro with the
yeah. He was like, I was
yeah.
thinking the same thing, but I thought that might be too much. Like, no, no, let's do it. No. So
Yes, do it.
we were super excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting that you say that. Yeah, because I could also hear that too, because he's so good at making these really catchy but cool synth
Yes.
lines, you know, and that's like what what I don't want to say that's what he does best, but that's one of the things that he does that is incredible, that he'll add an additional flourish, you know, to a song
Mhm.
that just like sends it over the top, you know. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, so
Well,
it's so much fun to like to get that back from him, you know, when it's like
mhm.
something when like it's like the basic song structure is there, but he throws something back on top of it, and you're just like,
Yeah.
oh man, you know, that's just like the best, you know.
Yes. I call them little sprinkles, like when it just makes the song, it's like that was the sprinkle moment for that song.
Sprinkle, yeah, that's
Yes.
perfect. Yeah, 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 yeah,
It's like a little sprinkle of magic, like little stardust or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
know, we talked about something before the camera started rolling. I want to give a shout out to Richard Frank Gum. You're
Oh
you're
yeah.
you're a friend that followed me,
Richard
a
Frank,
friend
Richard in
from down
Australia.
under. Yeah,
Yeah. Hi,
because
Richard.
yeah, hi
Hope
Richard.
you're. Thank you for watching, Richard, and thank you for always tuning in to Scott's music. And he always comments. He's a
Yeah, he
great
always
champ.
comments. Yeah, and he sent me a lot of messages, and I have to say, I've the strange thing about this past year is that it has been so incredibly, parts of it has been so incredibly dark for me personally. And I know
Me
you
too.
also have gone through a lot this year. And these little messages that you get from someone, like Richard Frank has sent me a few, are so uplifting. And so, because obviously, this is, I'm not getting rich off of all this stuff, And so to know that you've reached someone and to know that someone really appreciates what you do is like, uh,
Yes.
it's such a gift, and it really keeps me going. So I want to shout out to Richard Frank Gum and to everyone else that has reached out to me and just said that they enjoy what I do, because that really really keeps me going. Really keeps me going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that I think that's awesome. And I really love our little dark music community over on Instagram. I actually brought Richard over. I found him on Facebook. We met in a David Bowie music group, and we became buddies. I guess it was music, pals. I, Maybe it was 2 years
Yeah.
ago. And then I started spending all my time over on Instagram because I just got more in so into the art, and working
Mm,
with you and other artists, and doing visuals and everything. So I'm over there all the time. I don't there's a lot less drama. There's a lot more music. There's a lot more art,
mm.
and the community is great. Our little
Yeah.
independent music community is amazing. So Richard is really
Yeah.
happy that he's joined over there now. He said he
It,
likes it better.
it is really amazing. I mean, this is like, I know a lot of people like are like bemoan the rise of the algorithm, but there's something about the algorithm that really allows you to feel like you're in a little community. And I think about it
Absolutely.
sometimes, and I'm like, what the hell is that? What community is it? These are just like, it is so weird because it's all digital, but it does like group everyone together if you interact, and it does really feel that way. And I
Right.
thought of something the other day too, because I'm working with this artist as his social media person,
Oh yeah,
and
we you told me about that. That's
yeah,
great.
and I was, and his whole experience has been very much about community as well, and that's a big like message that he has. And I was thinking the other day that that is what makes it like, for me anyway, makes like sustainable output possible as an artist, is like that's only possible in community,
Oh,
when you're really supported by other artists and this kind of stuff that I feel here, because it's like, actually, I don't know if you follow Ruin the Mind. Shout out to
yes,
Ruin the Mind.
I do.
But he
Now
put up,
I
yeah,
need to go listen more, but I am familiar with them. Yes.
he put up a story the other day, and he was talking about how sad he was to see that many artists that he followed are not on Spotify anymore, and they've
Oh,
scrubbed their
yes.
Instagram accounts and stuff like that,
It
because it
is.
is so hard, to keep going. And I think I realized one of the reasons why I can keep going is this feeling of being held by this community, and it makes like that really that love, it makes it possible to sustain an artistic output, and
Right.
so I really feel like it's the only way to keep going. So I really believe in this community, and that it's good um, for anyone to jump in and just do creative things,
Yeah.
um, because you're like, oh yeah, I know this person. Oh, they're appreciating what I do. Oh, I think I'll do something tomorrow. Even
Yeah.
if it's just a little creative post or
Right.
whatever.
You're
So I
inspired to
think
keep
it's,
going.
yeah, I think it's actually I think a lot of times with like it's easy to kind of slag off social media, but it
Oh
can
yeah.
also be quite magical, if
Mhm.
it's on the foundation of truth and love and respect, then it can be something very special, you know. Of course, it could be a total nightmare too, but it can also be this special thing, especially when you just have this like invisible, you know,
Bond.
this
Yes.
invisible bond where everyone is held in a certain way.
Mhm.
So,
I
yeah,
definitely
yeah, and
agree.
feel appreciated.
Well, that's awesome. And thank you so much for welcoming me into your community here,
Oh,
on
well, no,
Instagram.
I mean, I feel like you're a bigger part of it than I am, I feel. So thank you for welcoming me.
Well, hey, you showed up in my algorithm. You and James showed up in my algorithm. So, hey,
Oh, is
the
that right?
algorithm is
Okay.
okay
Yeah, yeah,
with
yeah.
me.
Yeah. Well, that happened with me with James in the beginning too. And I was just like I discovered him, through following, I think, Tokyo Teens, through
Oh
Jimmy.
yeah.
That was like an early supporter of mine, and yeah,
Mhm.
so it's like, yeah, it's really lovely. So yeah, yeah,
It is. And then we even have some, kind of bigger players that are in our community as well, like that pop in every now and then and give support too. So it's always awesome to see.
yeah, yeah. It's true. It's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah,
actors and
yeah,
Ash Code from Italy,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it's yeah, that's also nice too. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah. But
definitely.
yeah. So
Oh,
any
you know what?
other?
You know what? We're missing one thing, Scott.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We're missing the song. Or do you add that later?
Oh yeah, I add that later in the
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they stopped that for a while on Instagram. They where you
Oh, they
could
wouldn't
add a
let you.
song underneath. Yeah. But
Yeah,
there was like a few weeks you weren't allowed to do that. I don't know why, but
I
now
remember that.
they added it back again. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you can mix a song underneath. Yeah. So I do that just for the clip that I post
yeah.
on there. So I do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's another new song coming
That
December
was going to be my next
20th.
question. Are
Yeah,
you reading my
I just
mind?
sent that off December 20th.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
this is kind of a sad song for the holidays.
Oh, okay.
Well, maybe it's
Hey,
not so sad. Yeah, yeah. It's called "On We Walk with Broken Hearts," which I think you'll probably
I
relate
think
a lot to.
yes. I was going to
Yeah,
say if there's ever a year for sad Christmas song, I think this would be it. Or
yeah,
sad holiday song, like sad winter song, I guess.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I thought time for a sad winter song.
Yes. So what is the name of the sad winter song?
Oh, it's called
Or are you gonna surprise me?
On We Walk with Broken Hearts."
Oh yes, you just told
Yeah,
me. Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, is it gonna be another faster song, or are you going back
No,
to
this is the slowest one yet, I think. Yeah. Maybe
okay.
it's pretty
So
slow, yeah.
so
Except
it
from
is
the
gonna
last album, there was some slow ones, yeah. But
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
No, I think I'm really
yeah,
looking forward to it.
yeah.
That's
And the video is also is all shots that that Nadine took of the cemetery where Jim Morrison is buried in
oh wow, okay.
yeah, in yeah, Père Lachaise Cemetery in Paris. So it's
Yeah.
all the video is all a cemetery.
Well,
Very
hey,
cheerful.
you're talking to somebody that my nickname in high school was Graveyard Girl because I took my camera and went out to the cemetery. So, nothing wrong with that.
Well, you and Nadine could talk about that for a long time. Yeah. Well, I think we're going to get cut off in a minute here, but thank you so much for being the official guest host. You accepted last time.
Yes. And I do yeah. And I do apologize about, there were some losses and it's been a difficult past month.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I'm sorry for all that, and but here you are.
I'm here. Yes.
Here
So
we are. Yeah.
we're gonna do this again, and I'm very excited to be back. And now I look forward to talking about the sad winter song next.
Yeah, I always feel, like I said, I start to feel a little overexposed. So, if this is too much for anyone, please just, swipe left. But anyone that
Oh,
has watched this far, thank you so
yeah.
much
Thank you.
for your support. And
Bye.
thank you, Casey.
Love you, Scott.
And talk to you soon. Love you too.